My name is Liz Weintraub, and I'm the Self-Advocacy Project Specialist at AUCD. I'm going to present a summary of the Self-Advocacy report from the summits. The original report is very long, so Julie Petty and I wrote a summary in a way that we hope people can better understand. Envisioning the Future, Allison's Self-Advocacy Final Report, September 2012, by Joe Caldwell, Katie Arnold, and Mary Kay Rolala. Self-Advocate version, edited by Liz Weintraub and Julie Petty. The contents of this report was funded under a grant from the Administration on Intellectual and Developmental Disability and do not necessarily represent the views of AUCD or their funding sources. Background: the Administration on Intellectual and Developmental Disability, AIDD, is a federal agency that supports the Developmental Disability Network. The network includes the Developmental Disability Councils, the DD Council, the University's Centers for Excellence in Developmental Disability, the USAID, and Protection and Advocacy System, the PNAs. AIDD has held 5 regional summits in the spring of 2012. The goals of the summits were: 1. Find out what is happening in the state on self-advocacy. 2. Make state plans to strengthen self-advocacy. And 3. Make national recommendations to strengthen self-advocacy. Each state developed a state team of 9 to 12 people with the same amount of self-advocates and professionals. The team included 2 to 3 people from the self-advocacy leadership, a person from the DD Council, a person from the PNAs, a person from the USAID, and a person from the DD Services Agency. Findings: A. Self-advocacy in the state. State teams did presentation on self-advocacy in their state. States were all at different places in their support for self-advocacy. Some states had a lot of support and strong movement. Some states were still trying to form a statewide organization. Some state teams knew each other well. Others were still getting to know each other. Some states and territories had the same or similar goals. On the Allies in Self-Advocacy website, there is information about similar goals so states and territories can learn from each other. The address is www.allisonselfadvocacy.org. B. Plans to strengthen self-advocacy in states. State teams make goals to make the self-advocacy movement in their state stronger. The main goals of their plans were: 1. Support peer training, mentoring, and leadership development, like serving boards and committees. 2. Strengthen support and funding for self-advocacy at the local, regional, and state level. 3. Strengthen partnership with other disability organizations and allies. 4. Reach out and communicate with other self-advocates, like youth, minority, and other populations that are not part of the movement or may not be represented very often. 5. Educate the public about disability and self-advocacy, like getting rid of the R word, educating businesses about employing people with disability. And 6, improve community services and support, like education, transitioning, transportation, housing, community living, and ADA accessibility. C. National recommendation. State teams also came up with recommendations to support self-advocacy at the national level. Some recommendations were for action that AIDD could take in the short term. Other recommendations were for policy changes. These are the major things the state teams said. Things that AIDD could consider doing in the short term. 1. Provide support to strengthen self-advocacy. Support self-advocacy information and training center run by self-advocate. Start a national resource center by the self-advocate to assist local and state self-advocacy organizations. Provide support for self-advocacy through National DD Network Partner, DD Network Association for University Centers on Disability, National Association on State Developmental Disability Council, and the Disability Rights Network, and encourage DD Network partners to include self-advocacy as part of their website. Provide support for self-advocacy groups to build partnerships and develop leaders. Get rid of the R word and use respectful language. Develop resources where self-advocacy groups can come together and share ideas and information such as website, online community, and a national newsletter by and for self-advocates. To promote inclusion and self-advocacy at the federal level. Hire and provide leadership opportunity for people with disability at the federal level. Improve accessibility and use respectful language, and make all of AIDD materials and programs use language that everyone can understand. Raise expectation for DD Network and grantees about including self-advocate. Encourage and support self-advocate participation and review panels for federal grants. 3. Educate people about disability and self-advocacy. Help the public understand why it is important to support funding for self-advocacy. Help public offices in the state to understand why it is important to include self-advocate on advisory boards, councils, and committees. Start a media campaign to promote people with disability as people with value. And 4. Work with other federal agencies on issues. Improve education, employment, transportation, especially in non-urban areas. community services, affordable and accessible housing. Work with the Social Security Medicaid to improve these benefits to people with disability in the U.S. territories. Bigger policy recommendation for the Development of Disability DG Act. Make state self-advocacy and information and training center as an equal part of the DG Act. Some people call this adding the fourth leg. Another way to think about it is that it will strengthen the use of P&As in the DG Council and make the DG Act stronger. Require the DG network to work together on a plan to strengthen self-advocacy. Require the use and the P&A to support self-advocacy like the DG Council. Require the DG Council to include a young self-advocate under 28 years of age on the council. Promote inclusion of self-advocate with significant disability and self-advocate from underrepresented community. Write rules called regulation in the DG Act to promote self-advocacy. 3. The conclusion. The summit recommended a lot of things for AIDD to consider. However, it is important to know that AIDD has limited funding and can't do all the things people recommended. Some of the things are more long-term goals. People said that they learned how to work as a team. The team needs to make sure the voices of self-advocacy is the primary voice. The majority of people said the summits got a lot right in terms of accessibility for people with intellectual and developmental disability. However, there are things that need to be improved on accessibility and inclusion, especially at the state team level. People who participated in the summit said they were useful. They said that they learned about what AIDD does. They said that they learned about what other states are doing. They left the summit with energy and excitement. States made plans and taking action to support self-advocacy. For more information, check out the summit website, www.allisonselfadvocacy.org. Thank you.